Hi, everybody. Welcome to Phil and Dave's Excellent Adventures. Just Dave here. Today I'm talking about the movie Triangle of Sadness. This is going to be a spoiler review, so if you are concerned about spoilers, I would suggest you go and watch the movie first before you watch this review. I'm going to be out of time for the next couple of weeks. I'll have my Ant-Man review in March. For now, I'm just doing the Oscar-nominated Best Pictures that I have not done the reviews for yet. So, Triangle of Sadness is a movie by, oh God, what's his name? Ruben Östlund from Force Majeure. It's about a cruise ship, I suppose, with a bunch of terrible rich people and the terrible things that happen to them. So, as far as what I liked about the movie, overall, I thought the cast was great. I liked Harris Dickinson as the main character, whose name I forgot, but yeah, he was good. Charlie Dean as Yaya, his girlfriend, also a good performance from her. I liked her a lot in this first thing I'd really seen her in, but she was good. Woody Harrelson, always solid. He was very natural in this. I bought him very easily as the drunk American guy, captain of the ship, and Zlatko Berg as the Russian fertilizer billionaire. Overall, performances are really good. The older couple, his wife or girlfriend, also yeah, solid performances. The other millionaire guy, all really good. I liked the opening. I liked the opening song and a lot of the music in this. A couple of the songs they played were pretty good. I enjoyed them. I liked the song in the opening, and there's another song later on in the movie that I liked as well. I looked them up, but I did not write down their titles. But either way, the actual songs, the music that they're playing it, I thought were pretty good. I like the debate between the communist or Marxist captain played by Woody Harrelson and the capitalist Zlatko Burek, Russian oligarch. It was an interesting sort of debate. Maybe. I mean, I don't know. For whatever reason, I frequently complain movies are boring, but if it's two characters sitting in a room debating any kind of philosophical argument, I like that kind of stuff. I don't know why. I find that entertaining. I would much rather watch that than, boring action fight scenes all day. So, yeah, I actually enjoyed that, even though, they weren't really saying anything I hadn't heard before. And I clearly am on the side of the captain. I'm not a fan of capitalism, but some good stuff in there, some good quotes. I like them. So, yeah, that was fun. I appreciated the some of the technical difficulties that shooting on the yacht must have presented. There's times where the camera's just kind of moving, it's whatever, but there's also a part where the Russian woman is throwing up all over the floor and she's sliding back and forth, and I don't know how they did it, but I'm assuming they actually had a moving floor and she was actually sliding. Maybe I'm wrong, maybe it was just movie magic and camera trickery, but the fact that as I'm watching it I wasn't 100% sure how they pulled off everything, to me made it interesting. I like the stuff with the hand grenade. So we meet this older couple, a British couple, I believe, and we find out that they they made their money off selling war products, weapons and stuff like that. And so then there's a part where a hand grenade gets shot onto the boat by some pirates. The old lady picks it up and goes, "Oh, hey, this is one of ours," and they blow up. That was fun. That was cool. I like that. Um, I did like the part on the island, the third part of the movie, I think was the most interesting part of it. And I appreciated the fact it made me laugh out loud when the Russian oligarch immediately quotes Marx when, oh God, I can't remember anybody's names in this. When the Abigail, when Abigail comes into power, and he goes, from each according to his ability to each according to their deeds. And the fact that he had just been, arguing against Marx and then he's now quoting Marx, that was pretty funny to me. And I also just really appreciated Abigail coming into power because they find her in the lifeboat and she's got all the supplies there, and immediately the woman whose job it is, the woman who ran the ship, kind of starts ordering her around like she would when she was her boss. And Abigail eventually goes, "Hey, wait a minute, no, I have the power here. I'm the captain." And she makes him go like, "Who's the captain?" And they say, "You're the captain." She throws in a little piece of octopus. That was great. I like that a lot. That was really fun. I like that reversal of power and the way that worked. Because as I'm watching it, I'm going, if I were her, I would shut that door and be like, "Nope. You want some water, you're going to have to ask nicely." You know what I mean? Like, I'm in charge. So I really liked it. That was really fun. That was enjoyable. As far as what I disliked about the movie, I did not like the first part of the movie at all. I thought the opening was okay, and the stuff with the models was actually kind of funny. And I've heard Ashton Kutcher and some other people say, like, it's very realistic. It's very much the way that kind of stuff that happens as a male model, which, okay. But the entire argument between the guy and his girlfriend about paying the bill and all of that, I got it. It was fine. It wasn't, I've been in situations like that, but it just went on for way, way too long. And the guy just would not drop it and just kept complaining about it. And I was waiting for them to reveal why he was so upset. You know, was it like, was he hurting for money right now? Did he just recently lose a lot of money, or had this been happening a lot? And maybe it had, but like, I don't know. It just kept going and going. And I'm just like, at first I liked the guy because I'm like, hey, he's the main character. I should like him. But yeah, about 5 minutes into it, I'm like, I hate this guy. He is just so damn annoying. And honestly, she didn't bother me as much. I kind of got her point. She's like, nope, I'm gonna marry a guy who's got a lot of money. That's what I'm looking for. And I'm like, hey, I appreciate that. Game respect game, you know. But the guy was just so damn whiny and just would not stop. I'm like, Jesus, guy, you're killing me here. I really didn't like most of the second part either. There's just a lot of stuff where it's too long, too drawn out, and it's a lot of gross out kind of humor. It's a lot of like, you know, people throwing up and, you know, getting knocked around the bathroom floor and all that kind of stuff. And I realized that it's supposed to be funny, and we're supposed to enjoy this because they're terrible people, but like I didn't. And I don't really like bathroom humor. Like it works occasionally when it's like so over the top or ridiculous, which this was definitely over the top, but I don't know, for whatever reason, the way it was presented in this, just it didn't I didn't like it. It's just made me feel bad for them, and I don't want to feel bad for these people. And the movie is very mean spirited. There's a lot of kind of mean spirited stuff going on in this way they treat people. And again, I realize they're supposed to be bad people, but they treat everyone bad, you know, not just the people who are bad. And there's a lot of very frustrating, annoying things in this movie. They do it intentionally. So, in the first argument the guy has with his girlfriend, there's like a windshield wiper in the back of the cab that's going off, and it's just kind of annoying kind of noise. And it's done on purpose because, you know, it's supposed to be an annoying conversation that's driving it up. And it's effective. It definitely annoyed the shit out of me. But then later, when she kind of flirts with the guy on the boat, and then there's this like fly buzzing around, and then another thing happens with the fly buzzing around later, which again, I'm like, you already did that thing, but I get it. It's annoying because I'm sitting there going, smack that fly. What are you doing? It's annoying. Stop it. I realize they're trying to do that. They're trying to annoy you. That's the whole point. But also, why? Why would you want to annoy somebody, and why would you want to be annoyed? Who is this for? What is the point? I didn't really get that. So, and I think that's really what it is, because the point of this movie and a lot of these movies is like, this Schadenfreude kind of thing. Like you're supposed to hate these things. So like when these bad things happen to them, you're supposed to enjoy seeing the bad things happen to them. And the thing is, for me, like I don't, because A, I just don't even want to see these people. I don't care about them. And then B, I don't, when bad things happen to them, I actually do kind of feel bad for them. Now it's one thing if they just die, if they just, you know, get their head blown up or something, I'm like, haha, that's funny. But once you've like introduced the character and maybe know a little bit about them, I do start to care a little, even though I don't like them. And I don't want to see bad things happen to them. And for whatever reason, I know it makes no sense, but like seeing somebody die is fine because it's quick and it happens and it's over. And you're like, all right, that guy's dead. Fine. He's a character in a movie. He's dead. But seeing bad things happen to them where they don't die, it's like, well, now I have to like see this person in pain and suffering. And it does kind of make me feel bad. I don't want to feel bad for these people. And like I said, okay, bad things happen to bad people, sure, but also bad things happen to good people. Most of the people working on that boat seemed pretty decent as far as I know. They were just people trying to do their job, just trying to get by, dealing with these very annoying people. So when the boat started, capsizing, or not even capsizing, when the boat started rocking and getting messed up because the captain and the Russian guy were drunk and messing around, and then when the boat got attacked by pirates, those people who worked on the boat also probably died if that were also shipwrecked somewhere else. So like the problem is I can't enjoy the bad thing happening to these bad people when there's also bad thing happening to the decent people who work on the ship. So I didn't really like that much either. And then the ending, you know, I thought it was okay, but I didn't like the fact that they left it open-ended. I would have liked a little bit more of an indication of what happened, because basically it ends with they find out they're actually on an island where there's a resort, and so Yaya goes to go running in there, and Abigail says, "No, hold on, let me go. I have to go to the bathroom." And so she's waiting for her, and then she comes up behind her with a big rock, and she's clearly about to kill her with this rock because she doesn't want to go back, I suppose, or her life is better here, or she doesn't want people to know what she did, you know. But the fact is, they don't really show you what happened. It's implied that she probably killed her, and actually, I think the actress Dolly De Leon did say that, according to her, Abigail did kill Yaya. But yeah, I guess I would have liked a little bit more of because then she's like, "Oh, you can come be my assistant," and I guess I would have liked if that line had a little more weight to it, because like maybe if they would have explained the way she treats her assistant, or that she didn't want to be somebody's assistant or something like that. That would have helped a little bit more. Because I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't want to be her assistant, but it could still be better than working in the the toilets of the cruise ship or whatever. So I don't know. So other than that, the movie is directed by Ruben Östlund, who did Force Majeure before this. I've not seen Force Majeure, but there was a clip on like Reddit a couple of years ago from it, and I didn't realize it was from a movie. Just for a few seconds, I thought it was real, and I saw this guy run away from this avalanche and not try to protect his wife, and I'm like, oh, that's crazy. And then eventually reading through the comments, I realized, oh, okay, this is from a movie and everything else. I think they remade it with Will Ferrell and Julia Louis-Dreyfus, and I have not seen either version of it, but I've heard good things about it, and I was curious to see it. And yeah, I will say though, after watching this movie, a little less curious. It was also written by Ruben Östlund as well. This is Charlby Dean Yaya's last movie. She died December 21st, 2022. She had bacterial sepsis, which is caused by capnocytophaga. Now, it was kind of unexpected, but she had been in a car crash in 2008, and her spleen had been removed, which I guess increases the risk of infection. So that seems to be the theory as to why she died. She's only 32 years old, and actually in the movie you can see the scar she got from removing her spleen. So yeah, that's too bad because she was good in this, and this is the first I'd ever seen of her. But yeah, it looked like she may have had a decent career ahead of her, and it's too bad that happened. So yeah, I think part of the issue I had with this movie, actually, one other thing I do want to talk about quickly that I think I forgot was there's a part where I think it's the Russian lady wants them to all of the crew to go down the water slide. And I like that just because I've dealt with people like this sort of where they're like, oh, I want you to have fun. And they actually are causing way more work and making it way more difficult. And I think that's supposed to sort of parallel the fact that then if it's the same woman, I'm actually not 100% sure now. I think it is. Then she's sitting there sliding around the bathroom floor, kind of having to do this thing that she didn't necessarily want to do. So I kind of like that. I appreciated that. But yeah, one thing I did want to talk about, and a reason that I necessarily didn't want to see this movie right away is I feel like there was a lot of movies and TV shows that came out this year or last year that had this sort of eat the rich kind of mentality. And as much as I agree with the sentiment, I didn't really like most of the movies. So the first one was Bodies, Bodies, Bodies. I hated that movie, and I still hate that movie. And then Glass Onion, similar kind of thing. The Menu, which I didn't see because it seemed so similar, but I've heard good things about it, so I actually think I will check it out. White Lotus kind of had a similar thing. And my issue is, like I said, I agree with what they're saying is, oh, rich people are bad, they're terrible, but they're not really doing anything about it. They're trying to offer this, like, this fantasy, this kind of idealized version of like, oh, what if bad things actually did happen to bad people? But like, I don't know, you're not really doing anything about it. And then when you're spending millions of dollars on a movie and casting millionaires, it's kind of taking the point away from what you're trying to make. Like, the movie was produced by rich people, and you're making money off of this. So I don't know. I don't really like it. It kind of reminded me a little bit of, and I think I might have said this in Bodies, 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 where like one of the scary movies had Justin Bieber come in, and they're like, "Oh, we murdered Justin Bieber, ha ha ha!" Or there was like the House of Wax remake with Paris Hilton, like, "Oh, we murdered Paris Hilton." Like, yeah, I don't want to see them get murdered. I just don't want to see them at all. I just want to see them disappear. I just want to see them go away. And so I think the biggest issue I have with these kind of movies is that they're trying to inspire like this kind of class rage or class warfare, and instead it's just inspiring pity for these people. And like I don't want to feel pity for these people. And as much as the story is supposed to be about like rich people versus poor people, it's not. They seem to be more about like service workers versus their clients, which again is something to talk about. It's something interesting. And I feel like I've dealt with annoying clients who weren't even billionaires or anything like that, but I don't know. I guess I would rather see something more like Parasite, where it actually like has a little more nuanced discussion and actually like brings something to the table other than like how you want to watch a bunch of terrible people have terrible things happen to them. Like, I don't know. The movie is mostly in English, but there are parts that are not. And the version I watched, at least, was not subtitled. I saw some debate. Some people said they did see a subtitled version, but as far as I know, it's not. So I don't know. Maybe if you watched in another language or in another country, it was. But I appreciated that. I appreciate that there's parts where they're speaking in Italian or German or French, a language that I don't speak, and they don't subtitle because, hey, either you know it or you don't. That's how it works in real life. So I did kind of like that. The movie, especially the third part when they get to the island, reminded me a little bit of J.M. Barrie's The Admirable Crichton. Actually, didn't remind me because I don't know about that, but apparently it had a similar kind of thing to it. And there is also a mistake in here. Charisse, the woman who has hemiplegia, it switches sides at some point. And at the beginning, it's on her right side, and then it's on her left side when they're on the island. I don't know how that worked, but clearly it's just a mistake. And I will say I'm a little confused as to why this movie was nominated. Is it because it's a comedy and the Oscars don't really nominate comedies very often? Is because it was a foreign movie and they were like, hey, we got to give a foreign movie credit. And another thing that I should have pointed out that I didn't is Abigail's coming into power. As much as I liked it and appreciated it at first, once she kind of started then, using oh, I can't remember the damn his name, the main character. Once she started sort of using him for sex and paying him with food and everything, I just felt like. But my initial response was like, yeah, girl, get it, because she's an older woman. He's like this young, model guy. So I'm like, all right, yeah. But then I realized, well, no, if the situation were reversed, or if this were a male and not a woman, and he was doing it with a young woman, that would be creepy and weird, and I would not be celebrating that at all. So just because it's a power dynamic shift doesn't mean that it's okay to still take advantage of people and to use them and to treat them like a prostitute. I mean, and apparently in an early draft, it was a male, and Ruben Östlund had talked to his film students, and they said, well, it'd be more interesting if it were a woman. And I agree, it is more interesting, but it also would have been more interesting if they would have done more with it and then just, oh, well, now this woman is also a bad person, I guess, which is fine, but it could have been a little more nuanced. There could have been a little more to it. It would have been interesting if she would have gotten into a relationship with another woman, or even one of the other guys, or several of the other guys, or she had this just sexual relationship with the model kid, but she actually had more of an emotional connection with one of the other guys. Or there could have been a lot more you could have done there. And honestly, I think if they would have spent more time on the island, it would have been more interesting. But instead of wasting, an hour and a half with terrible, annoying fights and showing that these people are terrible. I already know they're terrible. You don't have to explain that. They would have spent more time focusing on the dynamics of the island and how that shifted because of where they were. Because this woman who, these people who have money but have no actual skills are now considered worthless, whereas people who don't have money but do have skills, that's interesting. That's something you can talk about. Instead, it just became this kind of, so yeah, as far as my score in this movie, I'm going to give it a 6 out of 10. I thought it was, honestly, if the movie would have ended with the Somali pirates blowing up the boat, I would have thought it was terrible. I think the third act, the third part of it really kind of saves it, but even then, only barely. I don't think this is a very good movie. I don't understand why it was nominated for an Oscar. I don't really get the appeal of it. I don't know. And I feel like the gross out humor, if it were in another kind of movie, a Farrelly Brothers movie or whatever the modern day equivalent of that is, then people wouldn't like it. But the fact that it's like a French or a foreign movie makes them, I don't know. I don't really get it. It just seems very pretentious and very, just not like the kind of movie that I like or would want to see. So I don't know. If you saw the movie, then let me know what you thought of it down in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you have a great night, and I will see you here again next week.